and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so happy to have you all here today. If you are new, welcome. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel at the end of this video if you are satisfied. Okay, so this is a long overdue topic that I wanted to cover. Everybody has been asking me, why you're not talking about this? Why are you not talking about this? Well, today I'm going to talk about it. We are going to dive into grad school. What it's like, how I got in, how I graduated Summa Cum Laude. Everything you need to know is going to be in this video. Also, I asked you guys on Instagram, what do you want me to talk about pertaining to grad school? And you guys did not disappoint. You sent in your questions, and today I'm going to answer all of them. Hopefully I answer all of them. Okay, well, let's get into it. Sit back, relax, grab a popcorn, grab some juice, grab some water, whatever you eat. Make sure you are ready for this video. All right, let's get into it.
Always need more lip gloss.
So, one of the most common questions that I got when I ran that poll on Instagram was, why did you even go to grad school? You already have a bachelor's in accounting. Why get a higher degree? Isn't that enough? I'm gonna be brutally honest with you guys. You know, the reason why I went to grad school was to show off. No. I went to grad school because I wanted to position myself higher in the work world. I wanted to be seen by the top accounting firms, known as the Big Four. For everyone who doesn't know, the Big Four is basically the top public accounting firms in the world. And to work in the Big Four, you are, oh my gosh, you are praised. Literally, it is a huge resume booster, and I wanted to be one of those people who had that on my resume. I wanted to work in one of those firms, and I knew to do that I needed to get myself into a master's program. I also did it because at the time you needed 150 credit hours to do the CPA exam. I only had 120 from my undergraduate program. And so getting that extra 30 was gonna be like me going to grad school. So that was actually probably my number one reason. And then the thought of just having, going to the Big Four and just building a strong foundation in accounting and business. And so I have no regrets in going to grad school. I feel like it gave me the opportunity to develop my leadership skills. It made me more mature and professional. I was able to have a deeper knowledge and understanding in taxation, which is what I, studied. And it was just a big booster on my resume as well. And I graduated Summa Cum Laude. I graduated with a 3.91 GPA from the University of Maryland. I don't know if I said that already, but that really helped me a lot, because when I'm applying for my jobs and I say, oh, this is my GPA, this is a leadership opportunity that I was granted at University of Maryland, people are like, whoa. And for all who know, I work for a Big Four firm. So I feel like, and I'm gonna talk more on this on my next video, so stay tuned for that. But I feel like me talking about my experience in grad school really pushed me up the top. I literally got an interview, and within 30 minutes after my interview, I was granted an offer to work at the firm. So grad school really does a lot for you. And I hope I answered that question, but grad school, for anybody who's thinking of going to grad school, do it. Do it. And make sure you stay focused during the process and finish it up, because it's worth it. It's highly worth it. All right, let's get to the other questions. So I got a plethora of questions such as, how hard is it to get into grad school? Did grades or do grades matter more than experience? And did you feel imposter syndrome? Here's the truth. Grades do matter, but they are not everything. A lot of schools will focus on your discipline, your consistency, your clarity of purpose. Because I remember coming into grad school, I didn't have the highest GPA, but I did have a relatively high GPA, and I didn't have much experience. So I was the opposite, on the opposite spectrum. And so I remember I had to like write an essay, and I think writing that essay and telling them, this is why I belong in grad school, this is why I need to study accounting and taxation, this is what I want to do with my degree, I think that definitely gave me a head start into like getting into grad school. I was also able to obtain a full ride scholarship, and my essay, my grades, my background, that was what really helped me get that scholarship. So grad school looks at a lot of things. It's very broad, and I love that about grad school. So definitely, like I said, try to get good grades, but just know that they're not everything. Did I have imposter syndrome? Yes, it is real. It is so real, because you're in grad school and you're thinking, oh, everybody's smarter than me. Oh, for instance, me, I graduated undergrad in 2020. I started grad school in 2023. I felt like I was so behind. Like, everybody here, fresh out of undergrad, starting grad school. Well, I'm just the person who didn't start grad school after undergrad, And I was scared. I was really, really scared. But I changed my mindset, and I think that really helped me a lot to get like on top in grad school. Let me see if I answered all the questions. And how hard is it to get into grad school? I found it relatively easy. Like I said, I just submitted my grades, my experience, my background and stuff like that, and I was able to get in really, really quickly, actually. So another question that I got, which I thought was a very good question. This was, is grad school harder than undergrad? Yes, but in a different way. So grad school was definitely much faster. It was more independent, less hand-holding, of course, from professors. At the end of the day, the ball was in your court. You signed up for this, you paid for this, and you have to think about your career at the end of the day. So I feel like for me, time management became very essential. I had to plan out my weeks, protect my mental health. I had to say no to distractions, And I think that was what made me successful in grad school. I was very determined and disciplined, that I knew when to say yes and when to say no. And I feel like, guys, going into grad school, you have to have that mentality. You have to. And so I remember I was also working, and I was also a part of an organization. So I was the accounting representative for graduate student government, which meant that I needed to represent my accounting peers at meetings and try to get ish done and make their experience in grad school better. So it was a lot of work. But I feel like I prevailed. It was, I finished it up and I did amazing. And then I worked, and then I had classes, then I had, family living in a whole different country. It was hard. It was so hard because, you need your family as support, which I did have, but you don't have them like close by to like run to when you feel sad or anything like that. But at the end of the day, you have to toughen up in grad school is what I'm trying to say. I feel like grad school will definitely humble you, but it will sharpen you. Humble you, but sharpen you. If there's anything that I took from grad school, that was it. So guys, be mentally prepared. Be mentally prepared. The next question that I got was, how did you graduate Summa Cum Laude? Let me tell you guys, This is nothing pertaining to be naturally smart. You had to show up on bad days. I had to treat school like it was a job. You know, I had to prioritize consistency and discipline. It was no joke. It was no joke. I had very hard accounting classes. There were times when I would call my mom on the phone and I would be like, you know, I don't think I want to pass this. But after talking to her, I was able to gather myself and go study. You have to set a timetable for when you're going to study, when you're going to eat, sleep, relax, whatever it is, hang out with friends. You have to be determined to do that. And so I think what really helped me was that, and also like just being persistent, aiming for that A always. You know, my mom always used to tell me, if you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And I wasn't about to fail. Sorry, failure is not an option, okay? So I definitely made sure that I stayed on top of all my assignments. And I think that's how I graduated Summa Cum Laude. Like, there was this one class, real estate taxation. I will never forgive you. That was the class that I got my only B in, and that's what pulled down my GPA. But everything else was successful. But I say this not to brag, but also to inspire you and let you know that it is possible. It is so possible to graduate with, you know, high honors in grad school. And to my accounting friends out there, you can do it. Accounting is hard. It's in a cruel world. Accounting joke. But you can do it. You can definitely do it. Don't doubt yourself. Never doubt yourself, okay? So that was how I graduated Summa Cum Laude, and you can do it too. Someone also asked, what is my biggest accomplishment in grad school? And I think my biggest accomplishment was actually something that I like to share on my socials. And that was actually me being the student speaker at my graduation. I feel like that was just a huge moment. You were on stage and everybody's watching you. You have a whole speech to say. And let me not even talk about it. Let me show you a little snippet. Here it goes.
Join me in welcoming Janelle Birch.
My name is Janelle Birch, and I am deeply honored to stand before you today as a proud student from the beautiful shores of Montego Bay, Jamaica. At the ripe age of 17, I left home and came to the United States alone, with nothing but a suitcase and a dream. I had to navigate life by myself in a new country, no family nearby, just determination and faith in the unknown. So yeah, it was really a huge moment for me. I absolutely enjoyed every part of it. I enjoyed having my family fly all the way from my home country to be here, and they were so happy for me, and it was literally the best day of my life in 2025. I loved graduating. That was my big accomplishment in grad school, graduating. I also got questions on how did I land a Big Four, did grad school help with recruiting, and I'm gonna just say this, full disclaimer, I did not land a Big Four after graduating college. I was actually in a Big 10 firm, and it didn't work out, and I got into a Big Four after that. Now I plan to speak more on this in my next video, so make sure you guys are subscribed to hear about my journey with the Big Four. But I will tell you this, This Big Four firm has been reaching out to me since I was in grad school, and I feel like I should have accepted it and go with the process. But I was like, all right, I'll just tell them that I got an offer from a Big 10 firm and no longer want to come to the Big Four. But I'll talk more about it in my next video. And the last question that I got about grad school was, is it stressful? Did you feel burnout? Grad school can be stressful. It can be definitely stressful if you don't know how to say no, if you don't know how to manage your time. I also think building routines and taking breaks without feeling guilty definitely helped me. Guys, school in general can be very stressful. It can be so stressful, but you have to take control of your life. You really have to. And so I won't sit here and tell you that it's not stressful. It is, or it can be stressful. But remember, take breaks. Take control of your life. The ball is in your court. You have to take care of yourself, okay? And that wraps up most of the questions. I do have some advice that I want to give future grad students that I wrote down. If you're thinking about grad school, here's my honest advice. Be clear on why you're going. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Grades matter, but growth matters more. Network early and genuinely. Advocate for yourself in grad school. Grad school will challenge you, but it will also change you in the best ways possible. I have no regrets on my journey. I absolutely loved my experience. Some days were better than some, but I will definitely tell you that grad school is so worth it. It opened so many doors for me, and I speak highly of my grad school experience. And if you ever have any questions for me, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments. I answer every single comment. Okay, so that is my story. I feel like I didn't talk too much about my whole experience, but I gave you the core details of what my experience was like and what really helped me. So I hope you guys will take that and go apply for grad school. It's worth it. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I am so appreciative of you, and I really hope you enjoyed my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, I answer every comment. So if you have a question about more about grad school, more about the Big Four process, more about accounting, recruiting, whatever it may be, drop them in the comments, okay? And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.